So this is Angus with another video, and this is 10 reasons you're not losing fat. Let's get right into it. Reason 1, you are not tracking calories. You don't actually have to track calories to lose weight, but if your weight loss stalls, it's a good idea to track your calories to see what the numbers are doing, to see if things are starting to make sense or not. Reason 2 is you've worked out the wrong total daily energy expenditure. So you've worked out your total daily energy expenditure with an online calculator. However, just because you worked out in a calculator doesn't mean that applies to your body. So you might have you might have too many calories. Reason 3 is you may actually be burning fat. So you may actually be burning fat and building muscle at the same time. Although you burn fat faster than building muscle, for some people this can sort of change the scales a wee bit and not give you quite an accurate weight loss. Here's a quick example of someone who's 111 pounds and then they look a lot leaner at a heavier weight at 116 pounds because they've implemented some weight training along with their diet. Reason 4 is the whoosh. So the whoosh is a concept I first heard about from a nutrition expert called Lyle McDonald. Basically what the whoosh is the fat cell at the beginning is full of fat. And as some of the fat is burned out, water comes into it. More fat is burned, more water comes in. And then eventually that fat cell fills up with water. Then all of a sudden, whoosh, all the water comes out and the water is released and you magically have a massive weight loss drop. So just stick to the process. Number 5 is time of the month. So this one applies to women. So women get a period and it has a monthly cycle. You get the follicular phase and then you get the luteal phase. There's a different hormonal profile on these and also a different temperature rise. Some women can actually lose up to 50% of their strength in one of the phases, which obviously affects the amount of energy they're putting out. So timing your nutrients around this. So what I advise is you should take your weight on the first day of your cycle and compare it to the first day of your next cycle and so on, or the 14th day to the 14th day, not week on week like a man would measure every Monday, for instance. You want to measure at the same time in your cycle to see if there's a difference, because your water retention, hormonal balance will completely mess up what the scale says. So number 6 is a big problem, and it's weekend calories. They still count. So here's an excellent little infographic. So maintenance calories here, as highlighted in red, are 2,300. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this person is eating under those. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they're eating way over those, which if you see on the very end one, means their weekly average is up. So even though this person thinks they're on a diet, what they actually are is in a surplus for the week and will lead to weight gain, particularly on the Monday morning if they weigh in then. Number 7 is overestimating exercise calories. So this one can be a tough one because a lot of people think of when they start exercising, oh my God, I'm burning loads of calories. But really you've got your kind of basic needs to hit. You need to hit that 10,000 steps, get a 30-minute run and an hour weight training session. Then you would be moderately active, not super duper active. Someone who is active throughout the day, someone maybe on a construction site, a farmer, for instance, would be highly active. Majority of us are quite sedentary, even if we think we're not. Number 8 is metabolic adaption. As discussed in a previous video, you have these elements to your metabolic rate: your BMR, your NEAT, your EAT, and your thermal effect of eating. So we'll go through each one. So thermal effect of eating, because you're eating less food, you're going to burn less calories because you're eating less food. Your EAT, your exercise activity thermogenesis, might actually go up. But as you diet for a long time, your body will downregulate the amount of power you can put out and the amount of exercise you can put out. So unless you're really increasing your monthly volume in weightlifting and your monthly mileage in running, generally EAT goes down. And the other one that goes down is your basal metabolic rate will go down, because you're no longer, say you start off at 200 pounds and then you drop down to 190 pounds and then say 180 pounds. You're now a smaller person. So your metabolic rate will decrease along with that. The biggest change is to NEAT. So NEAT, as this graph kind of shows, at the start of your diet is quite high, and towards the end of the diet, it drops. And NEAT can account to 800 calories in some people, but by the end of the diet, could maybe be as low as 200, 100. And that's when we get lazier. Some people adapt quicker than others. Some people will get lazier faster when they go on a diet. And the laziness isn't the rude way of saying laziness. They just down-regulate. This isn't controlled by you. This is controlled by your hormones and by your body. So it will just down-regulate movement as your body is trying to hold on to fat, because your body doesn't care that you want to lose the fat. Number 9 is you're not tracking correctly. So there's loads of little mistakes people make. They maybe eat chips off their kids' plates and don't track those. They don't think that adds up. They maybe have milk or cream in their coffee and they don't add that into their MyFitnessPal. They might read the nutrition label wrong, where they think, oh, that bar of chocolate only had 200 calories, when actually it was 200 calories per serving, and there were 6 servings in that chocolate bar. As far as guessing portion sizes, we're terrible. Generally, the general population is about 50% wrong in guessing the calories in an item. Dietitians that spend up to 5 years in university studying this are up to 30% wrong when they guess. So guessing isn't quite right. Weigh your food and get a good idea of it. Furthermore, to make things wrong, even though a product might say 230 calories, the government allows leeway that could be wrong in that. So even though it says 230, there might be 260 calories in that. Last but not least, in why you're not losing fat, is rushing the process. What a lot of people tend to do when they're dieting is really rush the process and not get used to the process and not make these small 1% things that make your diet more sustainable, easier to stick to, and better in the long term. What a lot of people do will try and rush the whole process and just end up binging. So you really want to kind of avoid that. Also, you don't want to diet forever. 4 weeks, 6 weeks might be plenty for most people per yearly cycle. If you find this video helpful, I'd really appreciate a like and a share.